Okay, here we go.
They were coming for me. There I was, fourth grade me, in my red polo, staring the beast in the eyes when all of a sudden I get swarmed left and right. The bloodthirsty monsters landing on me, attacking me. I was screaming and crying, and people ran to my aid. Now, I'm sure you can all think of a situation where you've been in the wrong place at the wrong time. I sure have. It's easy for me to look back at something and think, man, if I could go back and not be there when I was, I would do that. But it's not so easy. You can't blow off all of your situations as wrong place, wrong time. Now, I almost got myself into two very bad situations. These things taught me that I need to accept the past and embrace the present. Now, indeed, well, of course, there were things, two very dangerous things that taught me this. Last summer, I was with my friends, and it was night, and we wandered into a construction zone. And we were just looking around. It was the wood framing of an apartment building that was being built. And we were walking as we saw a security guard with their lights on start driving towards us. Now, for legal reasons, we definitely did not run from the security guard, but for the sake of the story, I'll tell it as if we did. So I hear my friend say under his breath, run. And as me, who's someone who takes orders very seriously, I turned and ran right into a wall. And I scraped up my leg, my arms, my hands, they were bleeding, and I actually still have a scar on my leg, which is embarrassing. But we got over the wall, ran into the building, and we were hiding from the security guard's flashlight. So we climb up to the next floor, and we hear the security guard come in. And so we scurry up to the next floor and start to hear him come up the ladder to the first floor. So we climb up into the roof rafters. And this is so dangerous. Like, they were planks like this big, and I was hanging up there for dear life, and the security guard comes up, shines his flashlight around me, walks right underneath us, and then he leaves. So we jump out of there and book it to the car. Now, it may seem like I got away with this pretty easily, but I didn't quite get out of it with my father. I came home, and the next day he noticed I was all scraped up, and he goes, "What happened to you?" And I was like, "Oh, Dad, I ran into a wall." And he was like, "Were you drunk?" And I was like, "No, I was sober." And that didn't go over very well, so I got grounded. And I was kind of upset that I got grounded because I wasn't drunk. But that taught me one thing, that I need to consider my situations because I could get myself into a lot of trouble or hurt myself. Because honestly, the scrape on my leg was not as big of a deal as falling off the roof rafters could have been. Not only did I learn from this, but there was another much more dangerous situation that I got myself in. I was doing another thing I shouldn't have been, skipping class. I left school and I was driving when all of a sudden I just hear a noise and I slam on the brakes. A truck had crashed into the car in front of me, causing the car to flip. And the windshield of that car crashed in and was shattered. And I was in shock, but I ran out of the car to the car that flipped, and there was a small girl inside. And so I just pulled her out of the car. And she had glass all in her, but I noticed specifically there was a lot of blood coming from her arm. And she had a glass shard in her brachial artery, which is a pretty juicy one that runs through your arm. So I couldn't think, but I just took off my belt and wrapped it around her arm, got a blanket out of my car, and started applying pressure to it while holding her arm up. And the ambulance came and took over, and I was so scared. And it was easy for me to think then that I was in the wrong place at the wrong time, that I could have gotten myself into a car accident. But I can't blow that off because I was in the right place at the right time for someone else. Indeed, it was so scary being close to that accident, but it taught me to value where I am right now. There's no such thing as wrong place, wrong time. Where we are right now is right where we're supposed to be. Learn from the past. Don't blow it off and think, I shouldn't have been there, because there's always something that you can learn or take from it. And value where you are now. Whether it's me standing up here giving a speech to you, or you guys wondering, okay, cool, but what about the monsters from the beginning? Are you going to explain that? Well, my teacher runs outside and looks down at me and says, Laurel, it's okay. They were just butterflies. And the butterfly pavilions walked back inside thinking, what the heck? Why was she screaming and crying because some butterflies landed on her? But take this with you. Value where you are now. Treasure the present and learn from your mistakes in the past. Because you're right where you're supposed to be. Unless you're in the butterfly pavilion. If you're in there, get out. Thank you.
Butterfly pavilion? Well,
Yeah.
you had a butterfly pavilion at your elementary school?
No, it was a field trip.
Oh, a field trip.
Yeah, but I was in 4th grade and I wore red. And so they all came to me. And I was scary.
It would have been scary if they were bats. Butterflies?
Okay, well, people are scared of moths. I'm scared of moths, and butterflies are just pretty moths.
Okay, sure, why not? Well, what did you think?